I'm going to introduce Kyle, and then I will turn it over to Kyle and Pete, and I'll interject occasionally because I know, imagine that.
Yes.
But I just wanted to share a story with you guys. In May of 2011, I remember sitting on my dining room table and I'm looking at my phone. This was my office at the time because we hadn't opened our guild office. And those of you guys who have been doing business with me since 96, during that period of time, I had just left Starkey Mortgage, and Vanya and I had always been neck and neck competitors. But I got really sick several years prior to that. And I really, at the time, was so sick, I wasn't sure I was going to live. So I really retracted my business as much as I could, but still maintain my business enough to pay the bills and also work on getting healthy. So fast forward to 2011, I was finally feeling like I could go back to work and go full speed. The problem was at the time that I made that decision, all of my employees went to work for Vanya. So it's like, okay, do I work on trying to get all of my staff back and rebuild an office, or do I just go join my competition who now has my staff? I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. She's got my people. So I'm just going to go join Vanya in her office. And that was about 2009. Well, you guys, Vanya does an amazing job. She's been here for a long time. She runs a great business. So 2011, Sabrina and I decided we want to do things just a little bit different. We're going to do business on our own and open up a Guild branch. And the reason we chose Guild Mortgage is because at the time, Starkey had started retracting and not approving the loans that they would normally approve at the time because there was a shift in the market going on. You know, you guys, we were coming out of 08, you had 09, and so this was like the 9-10 years. So I found Guild through another mutual friend on Facebook that I was barely even on, but we discovered a mutual friend that went to Guild, talked to them a little bit, and Guild was approving the loans that we couldn't get approved at the other company. So we're like, you know, we really talked about making these changes. We got to make these changes, but we're going to leave a really successful office and go start an office on our own. That's pretty bold of us to do. So we end up making that shift and change, but I knew that we needed to make a big splash in the market. You know, our marketing needed to be really good for people to realize where we are and why, you know, what we were going to do different than what we were doing before and why people should do business with us. Norman and Peggy will remember at the time we still had Preview magazine. Remember? And it was a printed magazine where everybody would advertise. And at that time, I had secured the last page, the back page of that magazine when we made that change. So I'm like, yes, we'll be good there. But we needed the message to get out further and wider than just people that were at the time looking at real estate on a static, you know, magazine. And so I knew I had to do social media. I knew nothing about social media. My kids had just left MySpace a couple of years before that, and we're going over to Facebook. Well, I didn't know what the heck it was, but I knew I had to figure it out. I was scared as heck sitting at the dining room table, setting up my profile page. Part of my fear was judgment of my kids. My kids at the time were teenagers. Well, or young adults, but they were on Facebook. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I need to be here. I know I need to do it. I don't know what in the heck I'm doing. I'm scared to push the buttons, and I really didn't want to make a post because I was scared it was going to be wrong or I was going to embarrass them. I just remember the fear that really held me back, but I knew I had to do it anyway. And I had to push through that fear and just get on social media. Looking back at some of those posts that I've made, they probably were really cringy for my kids because, you know, they migrated from MySpace to Facebook and whatever it was in between, and they felt comfortable with it. I didn't. But what I've learned from that whole process is sometimes you just have to push through. You just have to push past the fear and do it because you know you need to. And it's part of the strategy for reaching more people. There's so many things that you can say in a room, but you're capped. And you can only have so many conversations on the phone. Social media allows your voice to go further and wider than what you could do any other way. So I tell you that because I want you guys to know that if you haven't been using video for your personal brand to connect with people in a way you can't do with a static post or an email or a text message, sometimes you can't wait for the fear to subside because it's not going to. You're going to have to push past the fear and just do it. Long story short, my kids were and still do get embarrassed sometimes with my posts. I sometimes get the text message that's like, "Mom, really?" with exclamation marks and question marks. So it happens, but I use social to reach more people. So I wanted to bring Kyle to you guys today because Kyle is an expert in this area. It's what he does. I do it because I have to from a business standpoint. Kyle knows this really well and has a marketing company, a social media marketing company, which means he has to focus on what do I do to get the results because he has clients counting on him for the results. So rather than me teach you guys from an experimental point of view, I'm bringing an expert in so he can tell you really what you could or should or how, and share some ideas and tips and tricks just to get over the fear of what could be if you just did. So Kyle Draper, take it from here.
Woo!
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you guys for being here. It's an honor to get to be in the same room with people in the day and age in which we live right now. The fact that we can be in a room together is pretty amazing. Who would have thought we would take this for granted? But we do. And I don't even know, Michelle, if you realize this, today is the first time you and I have ever been in the same room together.
I thought
and had
about
a
that last
conversation.
night. I feel like you and I have
Right.
hung out all of our
So,
lives.
like when I walked into her office 30 minutes ago, it wasn't like, oh, hey, it's crazy. We're just now, like, we didn't even think about it because we've spent so much time virtually together, because I can see you on social, you can see me on social. And guys, I kid you not, my favorite compliment that people give me now is you are as nice in person as you seem to be on your videos. Right? That's when I was young, I wanted people to tell me how great I was, and you're so funny, and you're so smart. And now I'm just so appreciative that we have the technology to be able to put exactly who we are in front of the masses. Right? I watched my parents for 30 years. They grew a multi-million-dollar business having physical coffee appointments with people. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with my dad where I've said, Dad, I'm not saying coffee's bad. I love having coffee with people. But to let that in 2022 be the only thing we're confident in is our ability to sit across the table belly to belly from someone, and that's how we win. That's not going to make it in the world that we're in today. And so what I want to do is, I mentioned it, Peggy, to you before we started, we've had a couple of Zoom calls together.
Yeah.
Yes, the more and more I look at you, I'm like, I know you. And we've been on Zoom together. I'm glad that it was super memorable for you, but but this is, my hope is that this is a very unique class to any that you've been in before. This is not a class, we can still help you with this, but this is not a class of here's where the button is, and here's how you turn up the volume, and here's how you flip the camera around, right? There are really beautiful people all over YouTube that have already made videos for that are way better looking than me with way cooler voices than mine. And they can show you all of that. What this is about is tackling the fear and the things that we've allowed into our subconscious, that the moment I say, hey, let's do, this is great. You're saying great stuff. Now do it into this. And we instantly go, what do I do with these? Where do I look? What do I say? We allow this little device to just turn us into babbling idiots. When you could put any one of us in a room of 1,000 people and we'd feel more comfortable physically in front of 1,000 people than sitting alone in our living room with this little device turned on. It's a mental thing, right? And so where I want to go first, and Michelle just knows that she has permission to just jump in and intervene whenever and however often she would like. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the person leading the podcast said, guys, just because you've heard it before doesn't mean you've applied it yet. And I thought, how often can we sit in church? Can we sit in a class and we hear somebody say something that we're not doing, but we know it? And we go, I knew that. And we validate ourselves, right? Like I could hear a Bible verse and go, I knew that verse, but I might not be applying it in my life. And isn't that ultimately what we're trying to achieve? And so my goal is not to wow you with a bunch of brilliance that you've never heard before. It's probably more likely to remind you of what you already know that you're just not applying. Okay? And so we're going to jump into this, and we've got to realize, guys, you are not a lender or realtor first. You're a marketer. And we can go, no, that's not true. It is true. I'm not one of very many absolutes, right? I love everybody to kind of get to their own conclusion. This is an absolute in 2022 because you can be unbelievable at real estate. You can have every license known to mankind. You can have all 3 letters at the end of your name. But if you don't have anyone to serve, why does it matter how good you are at your job? And so we've got to now be better at being out in front of people than we actually do of being good at what we do. Because in Sherman, across the country, where we've got guild people from all over the country on Zoom up here, right? In every market in the country, we're watching good companies go out of business, not because they lost their ability to know how to do it, because they lost the ability to show up. And people go, oh my gosh, I forgot that restaurant was there. That was our favorite tacos. And now they're gone because they didn't know how to do anything other than put a physical coupon in someone's hand. Is this making sense? Is this making us feel bad? It should, right? It's uncomfortable. And I love what you said, because the fear doesn't go away. I have done thousands of videos. I have preached in rooms with thousands of people in them. I used to be a pastor for 10 years. And it never goes away. I was sitting in my car going, man, I need to do a story. I need to do a story. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to jump on video, but I did it because this is how the world works. And so a lot of people, I think we've got to overcome, well, you're just so much better at it. Well, how did Michelle get good at it? By sucking at it first, right? Imagine, like, think about how for any of us have kids, right? Like my wife delivers these babies and then they're just like, see ya. We're like, what? What am I supposed to do with this? I would like to hope now as a dad of a 9 and 7-year-old that I'm better at it than when my 9-year-old was 3 days old. Hopefully. My wife might have her own opinions about that, but I choose to believe that I'm better. And it's not because of all the books I've read, it's because of the experience that I have. And this is where all of you are with branding and with doing video. And so for the data people in the room, let's talk about some data. Because there's just always people who are like, show me the facts. I don't know who actually talks like that. That just feels like the voice that I need to have when I say that. And so we're not going to go through all the facts on here. You guys will have these slides. Like at the end, I'll tell you how you can have them. And so you'll have them all. But I want you to pay attention to this. I don't know if you realize that I left this on here. It's not even that year anymore. So this stat that said video is expected to claim 80% of all web traffic by the end of 2021. Guess what? That date has already passed. And guess what? That stat is already true. Because YouTube is owned by Google. Google is the largest search engine in the world. The second largest search engine is YouTube. So now when we Google, how do I buy a house? How do I sell a house? How do I increase the value of my property? What comes up first?
Me too.
videos. And so if you're not present there, where do you show up? All the way down here at the bottom, right? In a place that no one will ever find because they're going to go to the most convenient place first. But then think about this. I don't know if you guys remember when Instagram, so we got the journey, Michelle, with you of MySpace to Facebook, and then Instagram came out. And Instagram was the first picture platform. And so we were all going, you mean that age-old saying that a picture's worth 1,000 words is going to matter now? And now we have a platform where we can actually share pictures. This is amazing. Guys, now it's being estimated that 1 minute of video is equivalent to 1.8 million words. Is that unbelievable? And how do they get there? For the people in the room, they're like, what? That feels like y'all just put numbers together and called it a sentence. When you take how many words on average a person can say in a minute versus how many times a video is watched, it's 1.8 million words. So if you talk faster, that number might be bigger. If you talk slower, that number might be slightly smaller. But guys, it's unbelievable that while Michelle and I teach this class, there are people right now consuming our content online. There are people listening to her new podcast. There are people watching my videos and listening to my podcast. And so while we get to be here with you fully present, what does this say about your business right this second? Right? Like while you're in this room, is your business growing? Does it even have a chance to? Because for most realtors that I know, because of the lack of activity on social, the moment you physically put yourself outside of your business hits the pause button. And that's dangerous in 2022. The other thing that I don't have a slide for, that I probably should make a slide for this. When someone refers us, right, 15 years ago, if somebody said, oh my gosh, Michelle Castle is the greatest lender in the world, she needs to do your mortgage. If I say that to a friend 15 years ago, what's the next thing they do? Call her, right? How do I call her? Hours later, they're in business together. Now, if I tell somebody Michelle Castle is the greatest lender on the planet, what do? They go look her up. They don't even trust their friend anymore. Because if they go look her up and on Facebook, they find her business page and it has 2 reviews. And I go, oh yeah, she's done thousands of loans. Their first thought is, why is Kyle an idiot? And why has he allowed this woman to lie to him? Because how could she have done 1,000 loans and she has 2 reviews on her business page? Again, is this painful? Guys, perception is now our reality. Truth doesn't even matter anymore. Just look at how crazy our world is in the last 2 years. Truth is irrelevant. So we can stand on our high horses and go, but it doesn't matter. The moment you think I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot. There's nothing I can do about it. And so if we don't have a presence online to validate what people are saying about us, the worst referral we never get is the one we never knew we had the opportunity for. Because Michelle could say my name to 50 people a day. But if they all go online and think I'm a joke, her opinion no longer matters. And this is why this is so important. And so this is why the way I teach social media is very different. I don't coach social media on like, hey, you're in Sherman, Texas. You're in Pottsboro, home of the Cardinals, the good Cardinals. You want to get 20,000 Instagram followers? Who gives a crap? What do you need 20,000 followers for? I am such a proponent of, do you have 50 people that you know, like, and trust, and that equally feel that way about you? You know what? If you just showed up to them more often, your business will grow. You could double your business without getting any new followers on social media. You just need to show up to the ones you have. But we've created this ecosystem of like, do you want to be an influencer? Yeah, do you want to? You want to take some pictures with Starbucks, and do you want to take some pictures with? And so we've just perpetuated what social media really is to just the working people. And so we need to go backwards and realize I'm not doing videos to try to be famous. I'm not going to be. I do videos because I care and love people. And I'd hate to know that there's someone out there who's being served less because I didn't do everything in my power of being in front of them more. And that's how I choose to look at social media. And so as we kind of jump into this, this is, Michelle, I put in some of the data
stats.
points from the stats that you
Good,
sent,
good.
right? So again, we don't want to just cram a bunch of statistics down your throat, but the right data points matter when we're trying to make decisions. So for example, right, just looking at like the main platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Again, you don't need to be everywhere. Okay, did you know that? Did you know you're allowed to say no? Did you know you're allowed to pick one? So my story is I was a youth pastor in Plano, Texas for almost 9 years. Then the Lord called me out of church ministry and I started a roofing company with my dad and my brother, right? Super cool transition. It was very fun. And so here I am in the throes of business going, oh yeah, by the way, we also moved to Oklahoma the same time where I knew no one. So I'm starting a business. I own a company of which I've never done business before. And now I also live in a state of which I know no one. It's a perfect way to start a company. I highly recommend it. Okay, that's right. And I'm writing a book on how to screw up business. And I'm going to give you all my ideas. Okay. And so here's what happened. All I knew was I just know how to love people. And I was decent on camera because I preached for 10 years almost. So I just started doing videos. I was the only roofer in Oklahoma standing on the roofs of houses doing Facebook Lives. So stupid. Because I kid you not, when the first hailstorm came through, me not having a clue what I was doing, I got over 100 phone calls in the first 24 hours. While every other roofer in the state was knocking doors, trying to convince people, I was just fielding phone calls in my underwear from my living room because I poured into people over and over and over again through social media. And that was my moment of, holy cow, I get to now go to my wife and say, see, I wasn't wasting all of my time. Right? It was unbelievable. It didn't go well. I don't typically point at her anymore, you know, because she's smaller than me. So and I talk much bolder when she's not here. If she ever saw this, she would be like,
Well, it's recorded.
that dude. She won't watch it. She's so sick of me, she would never watch it. So I want us to just have an understanding, right? Facebook alone, over 2 billion active users. YouTube, over 2 billion active users. Instagram is gonna cross over a billion and stay there and probably get to 2 billion at some point. TikTok, the newest one, is already over 1 billion active users. And then LinkedIn is the smallest, but we're still talking about 800 million people. So isn't it interesting where we can be like, God, LinkedIn sucks. It's the smallest. 800 million people.
Yay!
800 million, right? That's more than are in America. Okay. So we've got to understand we can win anywhere. We just have to actually pick something. I committed myself to Facebook for 2 whole years without doing any other platform. While my friends were like, dude, you really need to be like doing some of the other stuff. Guess who makes way more money than them now? The guy that got really intentional with one. Because I wanted to be the expert of something instead of barely knowing everything. And so it's very intentional. But then look at this, like if you want to really know, like, are people really paying attention? Facebook, 19.5 hours of watch time a month, the average user. Almost a full day of just consuming the content of Facebook. Instagram, 10.3, TikTok, 13.3 hours a month. LinkedIn is just a random fact that 56% of the people are male, right? So again, why are these on here? Because this matters. My parents, they were the top people in a direct sales company selling high fashion jewelry for 30 years. So I grew up in rooms full of women. So like why this matters to me is I would way rather walk into a room full of women than a room full of men because it's more comfortable for me. That's the environment that I grew up in, right? So we can go like, well, why does that matter? It may not matter to some, but all these data points are data points for a reason because it allows you to go, who am I? What am I like? Who am I most attracted to? Who receives my message the best? And let's go that direction, right? Just other random facts. Facebook's biggest demographic, and in spite of what a lot of people say, is still 25 to 34 years old. So we love to go, oh, Michelle, Facebook's just full of old people, right? That's what we love to say. That's not what that says. So the bottom line here, guys, is typically, if we're not careful, we look for what validates the way we already feel. So I could go find the data that speaks to my opinion, or I could go let the data speak to the truth and be willing to reevaluate my opinion. And so the opinion that I hope we reevaluate this morning is that every single one of you feel that there's a place for you on social media. Because there is. I 100% believe that. I know Michelle believes that. We wouldn't be in this room today if we didn't. Okay, so social media is hard. Doing social media, trying to be someone else is impossible. And in all the years now that I've spent training and coaching realtors and lenders all over America and doing this, this is the single greatest differentiator in if you will be successful or not. Because if you're willing to go, I am who I am. I'm quirky and weird. I maybe am not the best looking. The moment we can just embrace the way we are, you'll do really well on social media. But the moment that you start watching around and you start looking and you're like, oh, but Michelle does it so much better than me. And that person, they're younger than me and they're better look. The moment we start doing that, we will lose every single time. Right? I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm not the skinniest person on the planet. Right? That's not my gift. I'm a very big boned individual that likes to eat way too often than I should. Right? And so if I watched all my videos and were like, well, if I don't think I look attractive, I'm not posting it. I would never post a video because I just have to keep going. At least my wife chose me and just keep going. Because the last time I checked, I'm not using social media. It's a dating profile. So who gives a crap if somebody's attracted to me at this point in my life or not, other than the only one that matters, right? And so we've got to be really careful of who are we letting speak into our lives, whether they're actually using their words or not, that are going to alter the way we see ourselves and ultimately show up on social media. Because our friends know. And I'm going to get ahead of myself, so I got to stop. So I want to just quickly talk about, and Michelle, if any of these resonate to you and you want to jump in and go on them, please do. But these are the 8 things that I hear the most from realtors and lenders as to why you don't show up online more. Everyone's already doing it. You know, I took a video class 4 years ago and I really should have started. And I just feel like, you know, now everybody in Sherman's doing it. We ever felt like that? Guess what? They're not. You may see more of it because you're friends with these people, but the average consumer isn't overwhelmed with real estate or mortgage content. You just choose to believe that because you're in the industry and so you see it more often than everybody else. Or I don't have the right equipment. I've worked with realtors that have spent, like, they show up to a class and like they're pulling out a $3,000 camera and 4 tripods and a what? And I'm like, what do you have all that for? Well, I want to be able to do, well, how many videos are you doing? Oh, well, I haven't started. Their excuse is covered up by, well, oh, that new camera came out. Oh, Michelle has that new phone. Oh, okay, well, when I get that phone, then I'll start doing my video. That's what we do, right? So we think we don't have the right equipment. I shoot 99%. I have a studio. I have tons of equipment, more than I ever should have. I shoot 99% of my content from my iPhone because I want to represent what I believe that all of you can be. Because if I'm the coach that has $1 million studio and thousands of dollars of equipment, and then I'm like, but you could do it, that's not very encouraging to you. And so almost everything I do is from an iPhone. Almost everything I do is lighting from the window in my office. So my desk isn't where a normal desk would go. It's in front of the window because that's how valuable content is to what I do for a living. And so you don't need anything unless you have a flip phone, then you might need an upgrade. But other than that, our phones shoot in the same 4K that we brag about these TVs for. And so you don't lack anything. Some people just genuinely don't think it works. And to those people I say, then why do you get frustrated and mad at a character in a movie when you watch it if it doesn't work? It's fake and you're crying. You know, like that dog didn't really die. Like that dog is alive in real life. You can go Google it, but you're crying about it, which means that obviously you thinking this doesn't work is a complete lie to protect you from doing it, because a movie or a TV show can draw that emotion out of us and it's not even real. I don't know what to say. Anybody struggle with that? So we go back to, guys, if I live in Sherman and I want to buy a house and I approach each one of you and I say, hey, I'm interested in buying a house. You're not going to go, okay, can we do coffee in a month? Because I need to prepare. I need about 4 weeks to prep. I need to get my note cards out, you know, really make sure. No. If I said, hey, Peggy, I want to buy a house and I can only meet 30 minutes from now, you're going to go, great. Why? Because you're the expert. Why have we let the dot on the front of this phone take away all the expertise that we have? Because every realtor that I talk to says, well, I don't know what to say. But you could talk to me for 4 hours at Starbucks. The problem is we get so psyched out about it. We get so caught up in wanting to sell to people that we forget that social media was really designed to serve, not to sell. And so what do I talk about on camera? Literally what I'm talking to you guys about right now. When I'm struggling to come up with content, I open up this presentation, I go to a page, and I literally look at it and go, what have I not talked about on Facebook in a while? Oh, you know what? I haven't talked about being afraid to mess up. Let's do a video about being afraid to mess up. All your content is already there. It's in every packet you have. It's in the presentation you show. It's in the training that you're in right this second. Like, go regurgitate this class to your people. And any of your friends that are in direct sales, any of your friends that are small business owners, they're going to find so much value in what you learned today and when regurgitate it to them. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. My favorite book is called Steal Like an Artist. And the whole premise of it is steal people's stuff. Now, it says it a little more graceful. But the bottom line is, guys, if we spend all our time trying to be original, we're never going to do anything. The uniqueness that we bring to the table is me, right? All of you could memorize this class. We could all go teach it, and it would be different for all of us. The exact same slides, but it would feel different because you're you and I'm not. And I'm me and you're not. And so I think we got to do a little bit better job of just being okay with who we are, as opposed to being so concerned with who we're not. And this is where we win. You don't think people care. Have any of your friends ever asked your opinion? Now, if you raise your hand and go, you know what, now that you say that, Kyle, I don't know that anyone has ever asked my opinion in my whole life. Then maybe you're the one person on the planet who's truly worthless. Maybe. But the reality is we've all had friends that have called us crying that have called and said, hey, can I come over? Today's been terrible. Why? People need us. We just have to show up. So your people will care. Again, will people care enough for you to have 100,000 followers on Instagram? Probably not. But 100,000 followers don't buy houses. People do. And we've got to differentiate between the difference. What about, I don't have any time? This is my favorite one. I don't have any time.
Then go live.
Then go live, right? That's too soon. Too soon, right? We're getting there. But what I was taught about time, right, isn't it interesting that if a random person from my past texts me today and was like, hey, do you have time for lunch? I'd probably be like, oh man, I wish I did, but But Michelle texts me and goes, hey, I'm in Fort Worth today. Can we go grab lunch? What? My calendar just happened to free up. So it's not that we don't have time, it's that we value things differently. So when I say I don't have time to do video, what I'm really saying is I don't value video. And then you're gonna go, no, I do. Well, then you do it, right? Anybody that worked out this morning, you value working out more than I did today. And I can go, well, kids had to get to school and I had to drive to Sherman. The bottom line is, could I have made time? Of course. But I chose to not have it because it's safer. And so the reality of it is this: you will make time for what you value. My wife and I go on dates. Why? Because I value her. And when I talk to one of my buddies and he says he hasn't taken his wife on a date in 6 months, I'm pissed. Because that's bad. And it makes me angry.
And it gives you something to talk about on your post.
That's absolutely right. And right now in front of you guys, just put my friends on blast. So don't get close to me. I might end up using you in my talk. And then the last one, and I always have to turn around, or no, I guess there's two more. So we've also got the perfectionist crowd. That you're willing to do it, and I genuinely believe you, but it needs to be perfect. So you want it to be edited the right way. If you say you're like, gosh dang it, you're gonna start over, right? And what I watch you do is you remove all the little aspects of you that your friends love the most. All the quirks, they don't make the final cut. The ability you have to be self-deprecating, and maybe you mess up and you make fun of yourself and everyone will think that's hilarious. Well, guess what? You're going to edit that out. So what you're going to end up with is just a very serious video. And if that's not who you are, it'll look really weird. And so we've got to realize we need to just show up as we are. This is where the power is, because our friends know us. They don't want to know the perfected version of you. They want us as we are. And then the last one is where I have to turn around, because one time I said too old and I looked at the really old person and it was awkward. and so for some of us, right, and again, this isn't an age, this is a feeling. But for some of us, we feel too old, right? We just feel like, golly, I mean, maybe 20 years ago I would have been great on Instagram, or 10 years ago I would have been great on YouTube. But people still use you to buy houses, right? People still use you to write loans. So what's the difference about the camera? The camera shows more of who we are, more than anything else, right? And so if you're not ready to hang it up in life, there's a place for you on social media. And so these are the self-limiting beliefs that I believe hold us back. And the way we're going to fix these is, I want to give you what I believe are the 5 keys to video. And the beauty of the way I've created this isn't a system where, like, until you do all 5 better, you're just going to still be terrible. This is designed where if you would just take any one of these 5 things and get better at it, you're going to be better. And then you're just going to start stacking. And over time, you're going to get better and better and better and better. Okay? And remember, y'all can write. It makes me feel good when you write, because I'm like, yes, I said something worth writing down. But I'll also give you the slides, so you'll have all of it as well. Okay? So, real quick, right now, right this second, over 500 million people are watching videos on Facebook. Right now, today. Are they watching yours? Ugh, right? They're watching mine. They're watching Michelle. Someone is. I don't know that either one of our videos is like the most watched video on Facebook. But again, that's not the goal. Right? So we've got to understand this. And then this is super powerful when we understand that we have the ability to recall 95% of what we watch versus 10% of what we read. And I watch this every day at our house. My almost 7-year-old daughter, we've seen Sing 2 now about 14 times because we rented it for 48 hours over the weekend and literally like it just played on repeat in our house. My daughter can say every word of the movie, but I make her read a chapter in a book and I'm like, what was it about? Oh, I don't know. Maybe there was a duck in it. I'm like, what? You just read it. And so think about forget social media. What if all you guys did leaving today is you went home, go look at your website, and everywhere on your website where you have gaudy amounts of words, what if you just recorded videos that you just put on your website so that when people find you, they have the ability to consume you as opposed to just read you? Forget Facebook, forget Instagram, forget YouTube. Well, you'll need YouTube to put the video on your website, but that's not the point, right?
And I don't know if you've kind of covered in the slide, but from an emotional standpoint, people don't connect with words or pictures. They can't connect with you. They don't feel you. They don't hear you. They don't see you the same. So if you're really wanting to connect with people, to really get to know people, or for people to get to know you in hopes that they raise their hand to introduce themselves so you get an opportunity to get to know them, you gotta get on video because of the emotional connection when you do.
Yeah, it's huge.
Even if it's 5 seconds of them seeing your mouth move and your hands moving and just your facial expression, they will connect emotionally with you and they'll remember you.
And I don't know, has anybody seen Encanto? One of the new Disney
I
movies?
want to.
It's incredible. And there's a viral video going around right now of a little black boy with hair like he literally looks like the spitting image of one of the boys in the movie. And the video is his mom filming him watching the movie, and he gets so excited when he sees the little boy because he thinks it's him.
Oh,
Right? Now, that's a video of a little kid, but that's showing the way our brains work.
mhm,
And that when I'm watching someone, I'm looking for something to relate to you
mhm,
without you using words,
mhm.
right? It could be, my dad has those same glasses, and something as simple as that. That starts firing off nerves in my brain that make me more fond of you now than I was 10 minutes ago. This is how it works,
Mhm.
right? This is why already in 30 minutes, I've told you I used to be a pastor, told you I used to be a roofer. I talked about being married. I talked about my kids are 9 and 7, but I didn't just walk up here and go, guys, I'm so excited I'm here. Let me tell you about myself. My name's Kyle, and I work it into my storytelling so that as we're learning, I'm just giving you little bitty nuggets of me so that by the end of this thing, you go, I freaking love that guy. That's what we're going to talk about when we get into storytelling, is that you don't have to do videos that are like, oh, hey guys, I hadn't reminded you I'm in real estate for a while, so let me tell you what I got going on. Just tell stories and go, oh, by the way, I happen to be leaving a listing appointment when this happened. That's called passively branding yourself. So I don't have to go, hey, do you need a social media coach? Because I know one. How lame is that? Nobody's saying yes. I tell the right stories to get you to like me. This is the power of social media. All right. And so 4 quick things we got to be careful of. 1, give yourself permission to stop chasing perfection. And I apologize, guys, on Zoom. There's no way you can read this, and I'm standing in front of it, which makes it doubly hard. But you'll have the slides, okay? Our people want authenticity. In my opinion, one of my most popular videos I've ever done, I was sitting in our backyard, and I like to do spiritual videos, having used to been a pastor. And so it was a very spiritual video, right? It was very somber. It was very serious. And all of a sudden, here comes my, at the time, 5-year-old son in his underwear, walking through my shop. Now, he has autism, so he doesn't function, right? I can't just go, Bubba, go inside. Or I can't just go, what are you doing in your, he doesn't give two poos about any of that stuff. I'm just thankful he had underwear on. He walks through the shot, and I have this internal moment of like, do I end this? Is this about to get weird? Do I just keep going? Like, this is real life. People know who I am. And so I kept going, and he ends up, thank God, off shot. He starts just peeing in the grass, and you can hear his pee pooling on the video. It's very obvious what he's doing, right? And so I'm just having to embrace this. Then, like, you think this is it. Then we have just got a puppy, and so our puppy runs outside and is barking at the neighbor's dog. And so my wife knows I'm doing a video, so she's now run out trying to grab the puppy, but now her butt is in the video in her yoga pants. And though I love it, I know she won't. And I'm like, hey, honey, your butt is in the shot. And so she's like moving over. I'm like, nope, more. No more. And this is all live. This is during a Facebook Live. Guys, people loved it.
Because that's live.
Because it's real life. No one commented and said, man, I was thinking about using you, but that was real unprofessional. That's live. Now it'd be different if I showed up to teach this class with a Speedo. Like, now that would probably cross some lines. But when we're in our homes, right? Like, I have a home office. And so my audience just knows that there's nothing off the table when you watch video content from me at my home office, because I'm a dad of young kids, right? And so there's just this understanding that I think we're robbing people of truly getting to know us, because, well, I only want to go on camera when I'm in my like really nice spot. I have this really nice spot set up in my bedroom, and so that's where I do all my videos, because my light is right there, and I bought this really cute chair from IKEA, and I have this throw that just kind of goes up. That's not real life if that's the only place you ever deliver yourself to people. I love doing videos in my car. Because anybody else drive a car today? We relate. Right? We overthink this stuff, guys. Also, stop pushing self-serving content. We've got to look at our content and ask ourselves, would my consumer want this? But here's what I watch most realtors do. Lenders, I'm gonna let you guys off the hook on Zoom and just pick on realtors for a second. Here's what I watch the average realtor social media account look like. New listing, vacation, closing, carpool line of the private school where our kids go. New listing,
Vacation.
anniversary dinner that's $800. New listing, oh, pending. And we wonder why the consumer thinks you do nothing.
Get overpaid for that.
Why does the consumer go, man, 3%, that's a lot. What about 1%? And this is why you get mad, because you know you work your butts off. But those things aren't sexy, so they don't make it to social media. How many of you have pulled weeds in the front of a house before open house because the owners were supposed to do it? Or picked up dog poop in the backyard, right? Y'all have done so much stuff that makes you worthy of the commission you request. But when those stories don't get told, and all the consumer has to go from is they go to your page, and it's like, wow, you list a lot of houses and you take a lot of trips. What are you going to actually do to help my house sell? Because this market's really hot. And you go, oh, should have been telling better stories. And so we've got to stop pushing self-serving content. Nobody cares how many homes you've sold until they know that you care. That's why I would be more likely to pick a brand new realtor that I trust that is willing to go, hey, bro, here's the deal. Like, I'm new, but I joined this brokerage because there's so many people willing to help, so that when I don't know what to do, they're going to know what to do. And so I can't promise you I won't mess up, but I can promise you it'll get fixed. Versus the person that just walks in and goes, I was in D Magazine 2021 last year. I sold 111 homes. Who cares? Guys, we're telling the wrong stories on social media. People want to know what your dog looks like. People want to know where you and your spouse's favorite restaurant is. People want to know the book you're reading. Why? Because they're your people. They're your people. The world doesn't care what I had for dinner like the world cares what The Rock had for dinner. But my people do. And my people are the people that have the ability to give me money to provide for my family. And so that's who I need to be speaking to. So we've got to be asking ourselves, is what I'm about to post self-serving, or is it bringing value to people? And we've got to come from a place of value. Also, when it comes to your videos, your opinion matters the least. Because the last time I checked, you can't make a profit off your own sell. Now you save money, but you can't make money. You can't make a living selling insurance to yourself. And so who gives a crap if you don't like your own video? Because you're not your target audience anyway. The greatest thing that ever happened in my marriage was the day I stopped asking my wife to watch my videos. Because I'd want to be validated. I'd ask her to watch it and she'd be like, why did your eye do that? And I'm like, whoa, what? Now I want to go hide in the closet and not even go in public tomorrow because she knows the quirks about me that no one else does. And then one day I realized I can't coach my wife. She can't pay me money. Why does her opinion matter about my videos? Right? In every other area of my life. She's the only opinion that I value. But the moment I said, hey, honey, I just want you to know I'll never ask you to watch one of my videos again. She's like, oh, thank God. I hate it. Guys, let's let the audience that we want to serve be the ultimate say in whether our videos are good or not. And they'll quickly tell you. The moment you stop watching your videos back, I don't watch any of my own videos back. Because every time I do, I'm like, ugh, gross, awful. That's not good for the long-term effect of me doing more content. I need to push it out to other people so Michelle can go, dude, I watched your video last night. Woo! That was good. That makes me go to bed and go, man, I can't wait to do a video tomorrow. Michelle Castle thinks my video is awesome. That's what we want, right? And then the last thing, guys, is have you ever heard of Coca-Cola? I didn't know if Coca-Cola's made its way to Sherman or not. Like that was
No,
a
it
new
says
thing.
Pepsi.
Right. Pepsi's my favorite. I love Pepsi. Anyway, guys, the reason I say this is this. Coca-Cola, we've all heard of it. They spend billions of dollars every year on marketing. But why, if we know who they are? Because they know what most of you don't. And it is this. It's not about knowing. It's about in someone's moment of thirst, what will they grab first? And it's usually what they saw last. So when one of your friends wakes up today, and well, hopefully they've already woke up today, but they're awake and their spouse says we're moving, their spouse says, hey, I wonder how much equity we have. As they're saying that, they're probably on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever, and you might be their best friend from high school, but because they saw someone else first, that's who they chose. And we walk around feeling like people are mad at us, when the reality is we're just not taking Coke's advice. We can't just, I can't just leave this room and go, now all these people know me. It's just a matter of time. If I ever wanted to sell anything to anyone, I've got to show up more often than once. And so this is the power of what we're trying to achieve. And so to do this,
We've got 3 minutes before 11.
okay,
In case anybody has to leave, I just wanted you for them to have what they need.
okay.
But we're gonna keep going
Okay.
as long as everybody else can.
I thought we were going to 11:30.
Okay, keep
So
on.
that was my-
I blocked it
that
out
was
till
my mistake.
11:30. You're all good.
Okay, are we good?
Y'all good?
Is anybody super bored? If you need to leave, I won't be offended. Enough people like me that
Or
I
if
can
you need to
handle.
text whoever you're supposed to be meeting with next and extend or postpone.
So we're gonna walk.
Or leave.
I figured you'd be the one that would say that. The easiest way to break this cycle is to start convincing ourselves that doing video is no different than having coffee with a friend.
Mhm.
You leave this class and go to coffee, you're not concerned with what you look like, you're not concerned with what you sound like, and you're not concerned with, am I gonna be able to fill this conversation up? What if we get 30 minutes in and we're like, so now what are we doing? So great to see you.
Mhm.
Right? No, we would be there till forever and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get the kids in the carpool line.
Mhm.
So we all agree, right, that we're good at coffee? Well, so then isn't it interesting that when it comes to video, we want to put a mask on because we're so concerned with what we look like. We might try to borrow Kanye's auto tuner because we don't like the way our voice sounds. And so we want to sound really cool when we're on camera. And then all of a sudden, all the conversation that we've ever had with anyone ever all goes out the window the moment I ask you to do video. And so one of the tricks to video is literally imagine you're doing a video to one person. So let's say you're going to do video for first-time homebuyers. Imagine a friend of yours that may be a first-time homebuyer soon, and literally this sounds silly. Print off their picture, put it on your wall, and then put your camera right below it. So that as you're delivering into the camera, you're seeing your friend. And you'll be blown away at how much more personable you appear because you're not worried about like, oh gosh, like, is everyone gonna see this? You're doing it to your friend. Right? This is what you're trying to accomplish. And so we've got to begin to treat it this way. When I do video, every time I do video, I've trained myself to almost visualize like I'm in a coffee shop, just hanging out. We're just having a conversation, which also means I might chase a rabbit in the video. Because what would I do if we were in person? I'd chase a rabbit. And I would go, what were we talking about? Oh yeah. And then I come back, right? I want it to feel very natural. And so this is how we do it. And so to do this, we first have to know our audience, guys. Most realtors I know, most lenders I know, if I ask you, like, who do you want to work with? What do you just naturally say?
Everybody.
Everybody? Anybody? Man, if you got good credit and you can get pre-approved, let's go. How do I create content for that person? I can't, right? So we've got to begin to ask ourselves, if I could sell however many homes you want to sell this year to the same person, how old are they? Because that matters. We showed you stats about social media. If your ideal client is 45 years old, guess what you don't need to do this year? You don't need to do TikTok. You could probably, I could even make the argument that you don't even necessarily need to be on Instagram. Because the average 45-year-old spends more time than anywhere else on Facebook or YouTube. And so you could leave this room today going, woo, I'm never doing Instagram. And there'll be a ton of people that think you're an idiot. But the expert that's standing in front of this room would celebrate you because you're being intentional and making decisions. And so you need to understand how old they are. Within, in my opinion, 5 years to really be intentional. What season of life are they in? Are they empty nesters? Are they young married? Like our friend that didn't bring his wedding ring today, he's so young married, right? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? Like, season of life is so valuable for content. Because when I do videos where my kids run in the background, that speaks volumes and reminds people who I am. I'm a dad. And it gives me a moment to pull one of my kids in and go, hey, say hi to everybody. And you're like, oh, and then I face palm them out of the room. And then that's funny, right? Most people though would go, gosh, dang it. And they cut and start over. And you lose all of that opportunity for sincerity, which isn't that a kind of a good quality of a realtor? That you can feel what the buyer or seller are feeling? That when the buyer's 18th offer gets rejected, you can have some sympathy to that and not just be like, on to the next, rub some dirt in it. I want to showcase that to people. What do they do for fun? That's valuable, right? Like if you love Taco Tuesday, you should be doing some content around Taco Tuesday. And over time, you're going to have other people go, dude, can I join you for Taco Tuesday? Or you can then ask the question, we're looking for a new taco spot for Taco Tuesday. Where's your favorite taco? And you'll get 20 extra comments of people telling you their favorite taco place. All we're doing is trying to do life a little bit more publicly on social media. That's all we're doing. What are their current struggles? What platforms are they on? Why do they need you? Because most of the time when I ask a realtor to give me their sales pitch really is telling me why they should use a realtor and not be a for sale by owner. Nothing of it is about them and the value they bring to the table. They're just speaking to the industry. So how can we get people to say yes to us when we can't even say what we offer to them? So audience is huge. The second piece is content. A guy named Gary Vee says content is the price of entry to relevance. So I would say to you, if you haven't let your January start with as much steam as you would have hoped it would, you most likely don't have a business problem, you have a relevance problem. Because I would imagine all of you think you're good at what you do. You're in this room. So if you're good at what you do, yet don't have enough business, you're just not relevant enough. And so how do we be relevant? We do it by being more than real estate. Being more than real estate, being more than mortgage. We've got to get outside of this. So some of you have your name tags on. You could do a video today about parenting and oh, I just happen to have my name tag on. This says what I do for a living. That's passive branding. We don't have to always lead with, I'm a lender, I'm a realtor. We just need to passively brand ourselves. And so this is how we do it with all these different things. So we're not going to go through all these. You'll have these. But I want to focus on the one that I believe, which is crazy, that this is where we struggle the most, with real estate education. I get asked all the time, man, what's the balance of business posts versus personal posts? You ever wonder that? Most people say 80-20 rule, right? There's a popular book out there called Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? It's the 80-20 rule. I've developed the thought process of why should there be a difference? Because I own my business. I am never not a business owner, just like I'm never not a Christ follower. I'm never not a dad. I'm never not a husband. I'm never not a social media expert. So why do I need to feel like I have my like our lives aren't cubbies anymore, like they're in the back of the room? We're everything all the time. And so if you will become an educator of real estate and not just a salesperson of it, you can talk about real estate every day. And no one is annoyed by it because you're coming from contribution. Does that make sense? I talk about social media every day on social media. To my understanding, no one's annoyed by me because I don't end every video with, so if you need a guy, I just create value and I move on. Knowing that for everybody, everyone has their own tipping point of when I've created enough value in their life for them to go, why have I never sat down with Kyle and talked about what his company does? But you know what else happens? I get way more referrals because I'm not selling constantly. This is the power of becoming an educator. And so that's what I would focus most on. And we do this with two ways, and I would write this down because I don't have a slide for it. Two questions that I want y'all to think about as we move through the new year. One is, what questions do I get asked the most about real estate or about mortgage? And think back over your whole career. And for those of you that are new, sit down with a more seasoned agent and ask them, hey, what are some of the questions that you get asked the most? And if you need to help yourself, break it down even further. What do I get asked the most from buyers? What do I get asked the most from sellers? What do I get asked the most from an investor? And just write down feverishly as many things as you can. Guys, all of those should become videos. Easy enough?
Yeah, when I look at that, what I think about, especially right now, in the last 18 months, people want connection in a bigger way than they ever have. And so I always think back to how we connect with people, and everything, well, all of this allows connection. It creates connection. What you said, I'll always think at the end of a video, I've got to have a call to action. But what I heard you say is I don't have to have a call to action. I can just be providing information that my people need to hear from me. Or
Sure.
I just need to be real to the people that are my people.
Right. But
I
I do
don't
think,
have to do a call to action every time.
so I have a slide in a few slides that says have a call to action, but it's not the same call to action that, like, we all learned call to
Traditional
action
call to action.
in business,
Yeah.
right? That's how we learned the phrase.
Yeah.
So when we hear it, we just assume, but I can have a call to action with, like, like when my kids were babies and they had diaper rash, I could be doing a video, mention my kids, and then I can say in the video, hey, parents, what do you use when your kids get a diaper rash?
Mhm,
As a new parent, I'm so lost.
mhm.
That's a call to action because we're calling people to act. And so that's 10 extra comments in the video that I wouldn't have had otherwise. That will spur on the algorithm to then get more views.
And you think about Coca-Cola and just, everybody who has the money to study the statistics and the psychology behind the connection and the engagement, they don't say, go buy a Coca-Cola today.
Right.
There's no call to action.
Yeah.
It's an emotional connection that
100%.
they hope you time it just right. So they are present at the time a consumer is making a decision.
And because they're not psychics and we can't time it, that's why we just
You
have to
gotta
be
be
present
present.
every day in
Yeah.
some capacity.
Yeah.
Whether it's with content every day, or today I might not post anything, but I'm going to go comment on 10 people's posts.
Mhm.
Because we never know when somebody's buying decision is approaching. And so if you go, no, I'm taking a week off, you could have lost 3 deals that week because 3 of your friends chose to start their process and they went and got quoted from other insurance carriers, right? This is how it works. And so we just have to understand it. And the other question is, what are you surprised that people don't already know? So when you're having a meeting and you mention earnest money and somebody goes, earnest money, what's that? In your brain, you need to go, boop, 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 boop. And that needs to become a video that you do in the future.
And for those of us that have been doing it a long time, that's when we need to ask the newer agents.
Right.
What they were surprised about,
Right.
and what people they're working with were surprised about because they've never done it before.
And then this isn't a question, but if those 2 questions still stump you, guys, go to YouTube, search the phrase real estate, go find different real estate channels and literally read the titles of their videos. It doesn't matter what market you're in, you're doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to come across a video that's like 4 ways to increase curb appeal. And you're like, yes, I forgot about that. Don't go, oh man, they already did it. No, I can't do it. Like they invented curb appeal. Right? And so this is why I love the book Still Like an Artist, because truly we're all doing the same stuff
Mhm,
and we're all going to do it in our own flavor.
mhm,
So let's just do stuff.
mhm.
and not get so caught up in, well, it's got to be the best stuff every time I do it. Okay? And then y'all all know this, but it has to be said, the best do the basics more consistently than anyone else.
Not better.
Not better. More consistent. Right? When I talk to like one of my friends that has a six pack, and I'm like, dude, seriously, like, what do you do? His answer pisses me off so bad because it's so revealing that I'm just making excuses. Because his answer is, I don't eat cheeseburgers and I work out in the morning. I'm like, no, there's gotta be more because I need an excuse.
There's gotta be a better way.
Right? When people ask me like, how did you get to where you are? How did you get good at this stuff? By doing it. I didn't take a video class. I didn't have my class when I was learning how to do video. We just knew that there was a need and we just screwed up all the way through it.
Can I share a story?
Yes.
So, TikTok's not where my people are. I know that, but TikTok also has some great editing features. So I think, okay, well, I can TikTok and then I'll use that edited content for reels and stories. So it cross posts, it's super easy, but it's not so easy because it's something new. And y'all, if y'all watch my TikToks right now, it's like my old Facebook videos. They're so stupid. They look awful. Like I don't even know how to edit them correctly, but I'm still doing it because I'm making myself, I did a 30-day TikTok challenge. And so every day I have to do a TikTok. It's my own challenge. Well, there's a group of us. I'm challenging myself. Hey, you know what? When you challenge and compete with yourself, you always win.
That's
You
right.
lose, you always lose too, but you always win. Anyway, my point is, I'm not good at it. They suck. They look so freaking bad. But I'm committed to doing them consistently because my hopes are by the end of 30 days, I will have figured something out. And they look like maybe they should be on TikTok. The point is they're not better. I'm just consistently doing it.
And
So
this,
y'all are allowed to hate on my videos, but they do look really bad.
this is what makes her good at it,
Yeah.
is her willingness to
Exactly.
laugh at herself as she tells you she sucks at it.
Right.
Like that's the superpower.
Well, and the human side of it is Sunday, I refused to put on makeup. I wasn't gonna wear makeup, but it was a part of my 30-day challenge. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go put makeup on just to go do a video. I'm gonna just do a video without makeup on and see if anybody ever even says, hey, I noticed you didn't have makeup on the other day when you did a
Man,
video.
there's filters for that.
Yeah, I played with the filters, but they look too fake, so I just did it, whatever. Like, it'll be another one of those kid things where the kids see me on TikTok. I haven't told them I have a TikTok, but they'll see me on TikTok and they'll be like, Mom, really?
You need to FaceTime them when you tell
Whenever
them
they-
you have a
yeah.
TikTok, and then that can become, their reaction can become a TikTok.
That would require some more
That's
editing. I don't know
huge.
how to do, but.
This is what I hear her saying. My secret to this, in my opinion, why I'm good at it, is truly,
Just do it.
I care more about helping you than I do about looking stupid. That's the honest truth for me. Right? It's people love to talk about how much they care about people and how much they love people. And I look at their life and go, but you're not willing to be uncomfortable at all. So how much do you really love anybody?
Mhm.
I love serving you so much that I'm willing to be an idiot online.
Well, and I want to feel y'all's pain. And I've been doing video for so long that that's something where I can be outside of my comfort zone. It's just like the podcast. I want to experience the pain and the frustration and the fear that you guys are experiencing, because then I can better help you through it.
100%. So good. So as we wrap up, all right, there's a guy named Grant Cardone who's a big real estate investor, and he says best known beats best.
Mm.
So, right, you can leave this room and you can go, okay, what designations do I need to get this year? Who cares? Never will a buyer go, oh, you don't have the luxury designation? Yeah, I don't think you can sell my house. But how many realtors do I know that are working their butts off to have their luxury designation when they have no idea what they're even going to do next? They just want the letters. And so guys, we've got to be better known, not necessarily better. And so here's what I created for us to do this. It's called content compounding. And what content compounding is if you will take a video and just forget that the word live is here. Because like when you said go live earlier, like you could just feel people's skin. Just go, right? Like it just makes your skin crawl.
Needed the diaper change.
Right? And so if you need to, just pretend like this says video. Record a video, and here's what content compounding does. Content compounding allows you to have that video, put it anywhere, but then you can also go into Canva. You can listen to the video back. You can go, oh my gosh, did I just say that? I said that. And you can pluck that quote out and make a graphic out of it. So that the same way we see quotes from Oprah or any other famous person out there, now there's graphics with your quotes on it. That's pretty cool. That's very digestible content. And again, I only need you to think of me that long to call. I don't need you to watch 84 minutes of an 85-minute video. I just need 15 seconds of your attention. And so we can do this from video. You can also then put it on YouTube. And so instead of thinking about YouTube as this weird thing that you know nothing about, what do you do with a book when you buy it?
Put it on the shelf.
Put it on a shelf. What should you do with a video after you make it? Put it on the virtual shelf called YouTube. And if you want to go back later and learn how to tag and learn how to do all that stuff, but wouldn't it be cool if at the end of this year, you have a YouTube channel with 50 videos on it? So that when somebody reaches out to you, you can go, hey, I'm so glad you called. Before our consultation on Thursday, I've got a 3-minute video on YouTube that I'd love for you to watch. They're going to go watch it. Guess what else is there? Other videos. And so by the time Thursday gets here, they've already said yes to you in their mind. Because they fell in love with you by watching your videos. This is the benefit that we have that some of you don't. And some people look at it as the benefit of we're better at it. No, it's just the fact that it's out there. It helps us win. You can also, which is what we both do, you can pull your video, pull the audio from it, and now it's a podcast. My podcast is literally the audio of my videos. And I just released episode 69 this morning. It's crazy. I've done 69 podcast episodes. Actually, I've done almost 80, but they haven't been released yet. And it's just video content that we strip the audio from. It's unbelievable. And now people think I'm cool because I have a podcast. It's so dumb, the world we live in. That a podcast validates me. And I don't do anything special for it, other than I'm already doing the video. And then you can also transcribe a video and turn it into a blog on your website. You can turn it into a long form post on your social media. This is the power of content compounding. And so to show you an example, so like this is a video that Michelle and I did a couple weeks ago in preparation for a class that we're teaching at the end of this month. And so we just got on Zoom. I picked a frozen image where you look
Thank
pretty.
you.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, was
I don't
just
care what I look
thinking-
like.
That filter is a good filter too.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you what the filter is, because it smoothed out the wrinkles.
So this is just Zoom, right? We're just in Zoom from our computers. And then we turned it in to these two videos. And so each one of these, I think one of them is like 30 seconds. Another one might be 40 seconds. Our Zoom video is almost 9 minutes. And then we turned it in to these two videos. So we were able to create 4 different looks with the Guild brand to be able to showcase this class. And all we did was spend almost 9 minutes together on Zoom. This is what content compounding is. Now, the spoiler alert is my company does this. This is what we do. So we recorded the video and then I just sent the video link to my team and they do all of that. And then we just receive it and post it and look really awesome on social media.
Look thinner
I probably did. That was before Christmas, so I probably am at least like 18 pounds heavier
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
No, I'm actually skinnier than I was in that picture. It's just my thick sweater, right? They should rename these the fat sweater because you definitely don't look smaller when you wear it. Guys, this is how you do it. This is how we win on social media because you don't have enough time to literally show up over and over and over again every single day. But unfortunately, the speed at which it goes, if we don't show up, we don't win. And so this is how we win. Because then we can also just grab that quote and just make a pretty graphic out of it. We can pull that quote and make a pretty graphic out of it. It's unbelievable. Now, I don't show you this, and she wanted me to show this, not because I want to sell you anything. You could go to Fiverr
Mhm.
and find somebody to help you do this, right? I'm not the only show in town that does this stuff. I show it to you because I want you to understand that you don't have to convince yourself you're just on this island and you have to do all of it by yourself. Because I know you all know how to get in front of a Zoom screen and hit the record button and just start talking into it. And the beauty of this is what I call the pocket of speaking. So when Michelle and I did our video, I just told her, let's just talk. We had no agenda.
Mhm.
Said, let's just talk about the power of video. And that's all we did. When we give ourselves enough time to talk, you're going to say things that you could never have planned for that will be really good. And so that's what happens. And so this is what we want to try to do is we want to give ourselves multiple opportunities to win. Okay. And then the last thing is I want to just give you, 2 words. I lost my power. There we go. This is going to help us with storytelling. We all have 3 positions we can take with people. We can choose to be like them. So when I want to be like people, I take my expert hat off and I'm telling a story of how I'm also struggling with it.
Mhm.
I'm not better than you. I'm struggling too, right? So let's struggle together and keep growing. That's building trust with you that we're similar. Sometimes though, we need to put the hat on that says I'm the leader and you're the follower. And so like for Michelle, that's mortgage, right? Anytime she speaks about mortgage, she can do it in an authoritative way as a leader in the industry, not just as your girlfriend that just has an idea, right? And so it's positioning. The last position is we can challenge people. You can go back to your people, to your team, to your group, and if you've earned the right, you can get in their face a little bit. Usually I've earned the right with people to go, guys, we got to be better. We got to stop making excuses. You have to be better. But if I lead out of the gate with that in the first minute of my presentation, like I'm your drill sergeant, and I haven't earned that trust, now you just look at me as like, whoa, crazy guy. You don't know me. Who are you telling me to be better? The hard part about social media is most people just want to challenge people because it makes them feel smart without having built any rapport with people by being like them and or leading them out of love. And this is where we screw up. Does that make sense? Positioning. Then the last thing is this, context. When you post a closing, give me context as to why I should care.
Mhm.
I'm not telling you not to post closings. But if all you do is go, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, for letting me sell your house.
So what?
Who cares? Who are the Smiths?
Mhm.
What benefit did you bring to the table? How did you help them win?
Mhm.
It's context, right? You can't appreciate where I am if you don't know where I've been. It's why when I tell my stories, I used to be a pastor and then I was a roofer, and because I want you to be able to feel the progress as opposed to just, yeah, Michelle brought me in, I'm the expert, and you need to listen to me because I'm really smart. Context. This is it. So next time you're about to post, ask yourself, what else does someone need to know to appreciate this more? And usually it's just in one additional sentence. It's not in some totally rewritten thing. Just one additional thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so remember this. I know there's a commercial with the easy button. I didn't know if you knew this. That's not real. That's a fake commercial. And so if you're leaving this class going, okay, I get it. I know I need to be doing it, but I'm just going to find somebody and hire somebody to do most of it for me. Convenience doesn't make us money. Right? I've been trying for a decade to just buy gym memberships, hoping that would melt the fat away. And unfortunately, over and over and over again, I realized, gosh dang it, I got to show up. The same is true for social media. All right. And so what can we do now? Do something. Record a birthday video for somebody. Right? Just send a birthday video to your friend. It'll take you 10 seconds. No one else will ever see it other than them. Right? Baby steps. We've got to make progress. And here's what we know. If you leave this room and in the next 24 hours don't do something, you'll do nothing. It'll go down as a great class that was entertaining. And that's it. And I'll be known as the guy that's just really friendly and funny and nice, but can't move the needle for people because nobody's taking action. And so you got to come up with something to do today, in my opinion. And like Michelle already said earlier, do it afraid. Just do it. From the position of there's people out there that you want to help, you want to serve, go show up for them. And then this is literally, it's the last slide. John Maxwell says that understanding changes minds, action changes lives. I spent too many years of my life just wanting my mind to change because it didn't require me to be uncomfortable. And that's the opposite of what I want for you guys. So whatever the blank is, if I were to say you're too blank to do this, get rid of it. Prove yourself wrong by doing something today. And y'all already know her. She's here. And so if there's anything I can do to help you guys, please connect with me. I'd love to be connected on social so I can encourage you and support you in the content that you're doing. I'm Coach Kyle Draper on all social channels. I would also love for you to listen to my podcast, which I believe is pretty awesome. It's called The Social Media Mindset. So it's about social media. And then if you want these slides, again, if you don't want them, that's okay. But if you do want them, text the word slides to 844-905-1066.
Wait, what was it?
844-905-1066. That will ping my assistant and she will send you the slides from today's presentation.
I'm putting it in the chat for those of you guys on Zoom.
So thoughts, questions? Yes, sir.
I noticed that most of it, the only thing it's gonna cost us is courage to do it.
Come on. That's right.
That's all it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
That's why this is my favorite topic.
And I'm the guy that wants to spend all the big money on the camera, the skill set, covered with.
Yeah, come on.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna tell on Corey. Corey's got some great equipment. Amazing equipment. Ask him what he uses more often than his amazing equipment. iPhone. And you guys all have iPhones in your pocket. And I have some people that even ask, well, what do I do about a microphone? Get some AirPods.
Yep.
They're some of the best microphones.
Well, and even like when I'm recording my office, as long as my kids aren't home, I don't even plug, like the mics on new phones are so good. As long as you don't have like crazy loud AC, you get great audio just from your device. If you're in a controlled environment, if you're outside, then AirPods are going to be great.
And then just look around, I mean, just put it in selfie mode and move around and pay attention to the lighting. Because just a little bit of movement makes a big difference. You don't have to have fancy equipment to do it. People aren't looking for perfection. They just want information. They just want to connect with you. And they can do that through video.
How do you learn to edit? I don't, we don't have to have another class.
Sure. Well, Peggy, we can connect after and I can tell you more about that, but I would like, if you have an iPhone,
Yeah.
I would, so like you already have what's called iMovie on your phone, like it's a default app that's on there. And so literally you could go to YouTube and say, you know, how do I edit videos with iMovie? Or even just how do I edit videos with my iPhone? And you're gonna find thousands of videos of people screen sharing and walking you through, right? And just watch a little and try it, then rewind it, watch it again and try. And it's a process. Or the other thing, this is what I recommend, because this is what I would do, is pay someone else to edit it. Because that's not your gifting. It also doesn't make you money. And so I would say, forget this. I don't want to learn how to edit a video. I'm gonna just go find somebody that's cheap and effective. And I'm gonna just record the videos and then let them handle the editing.
I don't edit videos because I don't have time.
Yeah, I
I
don't either.
mean, except for the ones that I'm,
Yeah, the
you know,
micro
turning
content's
into micro
different.
content. But I don't edit videos. I don't have time. You guys want me writing mortgage loans and teaching classes.
So editing is important.
Nah,
I don't think it is.
I don't.
I do every video of mine in one take.
Okay.
And if I mess up, I just keep going. That's natural. Like I would do that at coffee with you. I don't get to go, hold on one sec, and then leave Starbucks and be like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. You're like, so why would we treat video different?
Oh, okay.
Mhm. The other thing that I noticed, well, never mind. That's a whole nother class on algorithms.
Oh, yeah. That'd be quite.
But
the
I
problem.
noticed some Facebook changes in regards to that. So you see some people hacking a photo by putting a GIF on their photo in the editing feature. And now all of a sudden, as far as Facebook is concerned, it's a video. So it shows up in the news, not the news feed, in the notifications as Kyle just posted a video. Well, and then you go click on it thinking that you're going to hear something great that Kyle shares today, a great story or something. And then you go, oh, all it has is a little sparkle on his photo. It's not a video. So, but the
I wouldn't
point,
worry about that anyway, because
But-
like, fool me once. you
yeah,
got
that's
me,
what I was going
but-
to say, that don't take the shortcut and think that that's a video, because it's really not. Video is really for connecting and sharing and showing you care and showing that you're human, because
Right.
that's what they do business with.
Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely. Hey, if you guys will pay attention on my michellecastle.info page, there's an education tab. And so I'll continue to we will probably do a lot more marketing classes and some other mindset classes. I'll do mortgage classes all day long, but you guys can get that anywhere. I was hoping to help you guys stay charged up and inspired and motivated to stay in the game, because it might be a really tough game for us in 2022. And then to also make sure that you guys are staying present and remembered by your people. So we'll continue.